Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a realistic enterprise rent-a-car in Minecraft step by step, block by block, including the interior for all of your city building needs. At the end of this tutorial, I will also suggest a series of vehicles that would pair really nicely with this build. I will leave links down below in the description for all of these. By the way, I was hidden somewhere in the intro of this video. This does not count. If you spotted me, leave a comment down below. The first person to find me will have their comment pinned. Also, did you spot the super secret sign? If you did, what did it say? This is the amount of space required to make the build. I would recommend copying this grid into your world, and if you do, to find the starting position for this tutorial, begin at the front left hand corner of the grid, count backwards, find the 9th block, and then count to the right and find the 3rd block. That is where we start. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Begin the build by placing a smooth quartz block on the ground, and then 2 glass pane to the right. 1, 2. Then a polished black stone wall, a glass pane, leave a gap of 1, place another polished black stone wall, and then 5 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then a smooth quartz block, which we then want to extend backwards by placing 2 glass pane, 1, 2, and then 6 smooth quartz block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We then want to hop over onto the opposite side, where we will place the same sequence of blocks extending out of the back of this quartz. So 2 glass pane, 1, 2. And then 6 smooth quartz, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will then place a black concrete in this position, and then extend up by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will then extend all the way over to the opposite side, and join down in the equivalent position over here, just like this. We will then extend this block backwards by 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we can drop this down to the ground, and we can also extend all the way over, join back to here, and then extend the corner down to the ground as well. Just like this. So we have essentially created a box, which we can fill the sides of in, or at least some of them, with black concrete. So we can fill this left side in with black concrete, just like so. We can fill the back of this space in with black concrete as well. We can even fill the front in. And then we can give it a roof by placing a layer of polished black stone slab across the top like this, and we can just extend the slab backwards. Just like this. And this will later become the garage or garage. if you're feeling fancy. Next, let's focus a little bit more on the front of the build. We can actually take every single block that we have placed in front of the garage, and we can extend them up by 2 rows, just like this. So whether that is smooth quartz, glass, or polished black stone wool, we can make them all 2 rows higher. Optionally, you may want to add an iron bar to this glass pane block right here. This is meant to be one of those glass push-pull doors, and this is meant to be a door handle. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I really like this better than just leaving the glass, and I'm also not sure that it even matters that much. Moving on, we have to place 2 rows, 2, of black concrete directly on top of our walls, extending all the way around the top of every single block that we have just extended up, connecting all the way back to our garage. Like this. We also have to extend the front of the black concrete 1 row forwards, but to do this, we will place 2 lime concrete in this position, then move over to the right and place 2 lime here, extend to the left a row, and then extend the bottom block to the left, like this, and then you can just fill the rest of this area in with black concrete, just like so. Then we are going to fill the roof of this section in using polished tuff, and I'm now considering that maybe we should remove this row of black concrete actually, and then we can just place the polished tuff like this. So it sits just half a row below the top of our concrete wall. Next, let's add some pathways and some car parks. To begin, we will come all the way over to this smooth quartz block right here, and we will remove 3 rows, 1, 2, 3 rows of grass in front of it, and we will replace that grass with smooth stone. In front of that, we will place a yellow carpet, and then remove 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and we will replace those blocks with cyan terracotta. We will then extend the yellow carpet to the left by 2 rows, 1, 2, dig a row to the left, place a white concrete, and then place 3 yellow carpet, 1, 2, 3, then dig 3 more rows, 1, 2, 3, and replace those blocks with smooth stone. Then place 3 yellow carpet extending left, 1, 2, 3, just like so. Then we will dig and remove all the way around everything that we have made, extending all the way to here. So just all the way across, extending back to our smooth stone, and then everything in front, we can just remove all of these blocks. In front of the yellow carpet, we can place rows of cyan terracotta, just like this, extending forwards, filling in these gaps. We can then extend the white concrete forwards, and we can extend the smooth stone forwards, just like this. We can then extend our smooth stone across here, just like so. And we can also dig around the side of the build, and then around the back, and all the way across in front of the garage. And we can remove 2 rows of grass here, extending all the way forwards next to the car parking spaces. Then we can fill the majority of this in with smooth stone. However, it is a little bit different as we approach the garage. You know what? We can actually remove all of the grass from inside of the garage. I can't stop saying it that way. Then at the back here, we will place 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, of smooth stone that just extends across the back. And then we will extend both the left and right side all the way forwards. And then we will continue extending all the way around the side of the build like this. And we will fill all of this in with smooth stone, just like so. You know, whilst we're here, we can add some details to this area. First of all, we will place a cauldron in this position with an oak trapdoor on top of it. Over to the left, we will place a spruce trapdoor flipped up in this position and this position, and then we will connect the 2 together at the top. Then, over here, here, we will place 1, 2 polished black stone wall with a beacon on top, and then we will place a black carpet or a polished black stone pressure plate on top of the beacon. Then, for these windows, we can place some signs and some paintings just to make it look a little bit more lively. So this could be opening times. As a matter of fact, why don't we just write opening times in this sign just to make it a little bit more official, and then you can just make up whatever opening times you would like. And then we can have a painting here in this window. And then we can do a similar thing over here, so we can just add whether these are meant to be advertisements or information, whatever it is you would like, we can just add a couple of paintings right here. Next, I would like to make the rest of the car park. To do this, we will dig to the right of this smooth stone block and remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grass blocks, which we will replace with cyan terracotta. And then to the right of this, we will dig and remove 1 grass, replace it with white concrete, 3 more grass, 1, 2, 3, replace those with cyan terracotta, remove another grass, replace it with white concrete, then 3 more grass, 1, 2, 3, replace them with terracotta, and then on the end here we will just remove 1 more block and we will replace that with a white concrete. We can then remove 10 rows in front of this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm just going to dig across to the left, line up with the white concrete here, and then remove all of the grass from in between. Then we can extend the white concretes forwards, just like so, to divide this area up. And then we can halve this space by finding the 6th block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then adding another row, just like so. And then we can fill the empty space in here with cyan terracotta. Next, we are going to remove 5 more rows from in front of this area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will just extend all the way over. And we will replace these blocks with cyan terracotta. We also want to remove 5 rows from the back of this area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you will notice that this coincides with the empty space inside of the garage. So we can actually dig all the way across and we can connect this together, and then we can fill all of this empty space in with cyan terracotta. Then we can just head outside again. I got stuck on the roof. That was so confusing. Then we can dig in front of the cyan terracotta that we have here, and we can extend all the way to the front of the build. So removing all of these blocks all the way to the front of the grid here. And then we can replace all of this with cyan terracotta as well. And that will be the entire road system and car park complete. Now, this is great and all, but we can make it look a little bit nicer. Head all the way over to the back of the build and locate this black concrete block. Count to the right of it and find the third block. 1, 2, 3. Place 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 stone brick wall extending up from the ground with a sea lantern left and right of that 4th block. Then count to the right of the base here and find the 3rd block again. So 1, 2, 3. Place an oak leaf and extend all the way across to the right, leaving a gap of 1 from the end of the grid here. Then extend all the way forwards and leave a gap of 2 from the end of the grid here. I am also considering lining up with the edge of the car park, but I'm not sure which I prefer. You'll see why in a second. Then we are going to remove all of the remaining grass and grid from around the build. So there's actually not very much of it. It's mostly just all the way around this hedge that we've created. And, well, that's it, actually. It's pretty much just all the way around this hedge. The tragic thing is we do actually need to replace some grass all the way, or podzol, actually. I hadn't considered that. My favourite block of all time. We could place podzol back here, although you wouldn't really see it, but directly behind the hedge, we want to have a set of large ferns where the podzol could really shine. Podzol might even look good underneath the hedge as well, but we'll leave it like that for now. Then we can place smooth stone in all of the remaining empty space. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So initially, I had extended the hedge just an additional row forwards. I'm going to be honest with you, there wasn't really a reason for that. I think it looks nicer and cleaner to line up with the edge of the car parking space, so we're going to do that. And now that we have made the car park, the next thing that we will do is add a fence all the way around the edge of the build. So the fence starts here, and it's made by placing a series of just spruce trapdoor that extends just all the way around everything, really. We're going to stop on the equivalent position on the left side of the build. So the equivalent position as to where we started on the right, we will start on the left, which should be here. Yep, it just lines up with the edge of the hedge. That rolls off the tongue nicely, the edge of the hedge. I like that. But anyway, try it for yourself. Oh, so, forgot what I was saying. I got distracted by the hedge. So, we will then place a layer of spruce trapdoors on top of our spruce trapdoors. I think it's easier to do this now whilst they're laid flat, and then we will have the satisfying task of flipping up both layers of trapdoors afterwards. Do you also find that oddly satisfying? Let me know down there in the comment section. It can't just be me. It can't. What if it is? Next, we have to make the dreaded sign. Let's do it. Throw down loom, open it up, place a line banner in there with white dye. The first letter we have to make is E, which is simply the bell dexter pattern, chief, fess, and then base. Next, we can place a black banner in there and make N, which is pale dexter, pale sinister, and bend. Next is T. This is pale and chief. Next is E again, but using a black banner, which is of course pale dexter, chief, fess, and then base. Next is R, which is pale dexter, chief, and then bend. Next is P, which is pale sinister, put the black dye in, apply the perfess inverted, white dye in, fess, pale dexter, chief. Then we have I, which is just the pale pattern, my favourite banner to make. And then lastly is S, which is chief, base, and bend. And luckily, that is all the space we need. And we can apply our banners starting here. So E, N, T, other E, R, P, R, I, S, and then E again, just like this, Enterprise. And if you like, you can do the exact same thing on the side. It does indeed fit. So Enterprise. However, on the side, it only just fits, but that's perfect. With those final details added, ladies and gentlemen, we can now head inside and begin work on the interior. First of all, we will make the reception/office area. I think that step one should be to remove the floor. This also includes underneath all of the glass/wall blocks around the edge of the walls. So, underneath the glass and the walls, we will place black concrete, just like this. So, the one exception is we don't place it underneath this glass. And then we will use just good old regular clay for the rest of the floor, because I'm looking for a grey carpet situation. And it's kind of funny that we're not actually using the grey carpet for this, or even the wall blocks. I just so happen to think that the clay looks a little bit nicer. So next we are going to make the ceiling, which is made using quartz bricks, which are just applied directly underneath the polished tough slabs. Now that we have made the floor and the ceiling, let's work on the walls. Or wall, actually. So, along this back wall, we want to place a smooth quartz block over here. To the right of it, we will remove this block and the block above. And we will replace this block here with a smooth stone, and probably the one in front of it as well, as we have to place an oak door in this position, and I think that smooth stone is probably the correct choice. Right of the door, we will place 3 smooth quartz, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 black concrete, 1, 2, which we do also just want to extend forwards by 1 as well. But then we can just fill the rest of this row in with lime concrete, extend the lime all the way up to the ceiling, and do the same with the black concrete. And whilst we're here, stick an iron bar in this position. Then fill the rest of this wall section in using smooth quartz. And then we will make a small table by placing spruce trapdoors here, and then here, with a brewing stand on top. Then to the right of the fridge, by the way, that's a fridge, we will place 2 block of quartz, 1, 2, actual block of quartz, not smooth block of quartz, followed by an iron trapdoor, pot on the ground, smooth quartz stair on top of this block, item frame here, painting here, white banner here, and then a stone button here. Then we will leave a gap of 2 from in front of the iron trapdoor, so 1, 2, and then we will place an oak plank and extend all the way over to the left, leaving a gap of 1 from the wall. Then on top of the oak planks, we will place a polished blackstone stair here in this position, here in this position, so basically just 2 rows away from each end, and then 3 blocks away from each other. And then we can kind of place like a mix of things, so like flower pots, stone buttons, item frames with or without something in them. Paper makes sense to me. We can do the same over here as well, so like a flower pot, button, item frame with or without something in it. You know, what if we place a flower in this part and exchange this stone button for a pale oak button and we have it face the other way? I think it will just look a little bit nicer that way. And we do also have to install some lights to the ceiling as well. So 1 light's going to go here, and 1 light will go here. So basically just off to the side of the polished black stone stairs, which I have just noticed we also have to add paintings to. And as you can see, I am adding warped signs around the lanterns. So let's just add the paintings that we talked about. That looks ridiculous. Okay, that's better. I'm guessing that's going to happen again, so I'll tell you what, I'm just going to place a block there preemptively. That's perfect. Oh, and we do just have to add some seats as well, so they can kind of be wherever. So maybe we'll just place them off to the left of the screens here. So it's an end rod and a polished blackstone pressure plate on top of the end rod, and I think that that's a good position for the chairs. And then all we have to do in here is add a small table with chairs. So that's a smooth quartz stair here, scaffolding in front, and then another smooth quartz stair in front of that. And then we can just place some pale oak signs either side of the smooth quartz stairs, just like this. And I am wondering if maybe we would benefit from some pictures in here on the wall. So I don't know whether it's going to be a bit too much. So maybe like one, whoops. So maybe just one here, actually. Or maybe we can also add just like a sign as well, just like an oak sign. And that could have maybe just some terms of renting a vehicle on it. Maybe we'll write something on that later, but I think that looks pretty good. Would it be overkill to do a similar thing over here? Maybe we could go like say like a sign here and then a painting here. Would that be too much, or is that just like a nice little balance? I think that might be a nice balance. And now that we've done that, with those final details added to the reception area, we can now head into the back of our Enterprise rent-a-car and make the garage. I love being unnecessarily dramatic. First of all, we have to add a layer of block of quartz along this back wall. Just from the floor to the ceiling. Like this. Then we will place 2 blue concrete in this position. 1, 2. With a crafting table here, tripwire hook here, item frame here, pale oak shelves here, which we will stock with different tools of any kind. I like the iron tools the best. We then have to place some spruce trapdoors. So we want to have 3 here. 1, 2, 3 stacked up on top of each other. And the same here. This is going to be tricky, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if that's even going to... That actually worked. Perfect. Then we will place 2 here, 2 here, black concrete here, stone button here, and then a couple of item frames underneath. Then, starting from here, we will dig and remove 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, extending this way. And then we will remove 3 rows extending across, just like this. We will replace the outer rows with orange terracotta, and then we will dig and remove the dirt from inside of here and replace that with stone. We then actually have to dig an additional row of cyan terracotta here and here so that we can place rails connected together inside of the space, and then remove the ends of the rails and replace the cyan terracotta at the ends. We will then place 3 red sandstone wool on each one of the 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we will place iron trapdoors in this position. So the iron trapdoors can be placed anywhere along these walls, as long as you can place a block on top of them. So here, for instance, or here. You guys get the point. It doesn't really matter. And we will suspend a car from here a little bit later. So we do also just have to extend these sides out as well. I'm not actually sure if I prefer like having like these sides on this, but maybe we will just have it like have these middle rows, and then we can fit a car quite comfortably in the middle. Then we kind of want to line up with the middle of this lift here, so like these 2 blocks, and on this wall we will stick a light grey concrete, lever in front of it, and then a stone button to the right. And then I'm actually thinking that we place some iron bars going up to the ceiling, or at the very least 2 rows up, but I'm not sure which I prefer better, to be honest. I think maybe up to the ceiling. And then on the opposite wall, in the same position really, we want to have a red terracotta here, smooth quartz stair here, painting here, stone button here, polished black stone wall here, and then an end rod here, just like this. Then all the way at the front of the garage, we will place a layer of polished black stone wall extending up these sides, just like this, so here and here. And then you can either... I couldn't really figure this out for myself, I'm going to be honest. So, I don't know whether I prefer to have the garage door be like behind like this, or in front like this. You know, it's kind of like a it doesn't really matter level decision, you know? But I regard, maybe we'll place it behind and then we'll have the extra layer on top here. So it does add a more of a depth effect like this, which I think that I might prefer. But anyway, once you've done that, we can just add some lights to the ceiling. And to do this, we basically want to line up with like these 4 middle trapdoors. And we want to place levers like here and here. This isn't going to make loads of sense until we actually place them, but basically we want to have lights on the ceiling that kind of just sit like right in the middle of the lift, and just like left and right of the garage. So we just leave a gap of one on the left and right. And as you can see, they line up with the very middle of the roof. They don't necessarily line up with the lift, but it would look a little bit weird if we were to offset them. And that's it. With those final details added, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially completed the interior portion of this tutorial. However, as you can see, I have assembled 4 different vehicles for you that we can use to enhance our brand new Enterprise Rent-A-Car. By the way, all of these vehicles have separate tutorials down below in the description, which I will link at the very top so you can't miss them. Vehicle number 1, our car. My suggestion is to place a car both in the car park somewhere. An ideal candidate is for this main one, just in front of the building. And another good position for the car is on the lift in the garage. But the only thing with this is if you use these style of wheel on the car, I would highly recommend swapping them to the stone button style wheel. But other than that, this really enhances the garage nicely. Next, a pickup truck. Now, the pickup truck is a larger vehicle, so you may very well want to park it in the larger car park off to the side, but you can fit it in front of the Enterprise, but you're probably going to want to face it forwards like this. And in this situation, you may in fact want to extend the front of the building a bit, which you certainly can. There is nothing stopping you if you have the room adding 1, 2, 3 extra rows. It does depend on whether or not you have the room though. So if you can and want to, add those extra rows, or if not, you don't have to. Next, we have a box truck. The box truck, just like the pickup truck, is a larger vehicle, so it doesn't really fit into these smaller spaces. It does, however, fit at the back of the car park though, if you want to place it here. The only thing is, if we place it within 1 block of the pickup truck here, the buttons will get knocked off of the side of the truck, so we would probably have to do this, or we could shift the pickup truck over 1, or elongate the spaces if we like. There's more than enough room at the back if we do this, and honestly they look quite nice together. Lastly, we have our U-Haul style moving van. Now, we do run into the issue with the U-Haul that we have kind of filled up the larger car park here with the larger vehicles. There's not really enough space for this without just completely overwhelming the builds. So I've got a couple of options for you. Option 1, I think that we move the pickup truck back to the front of the build. And if we have the space to do so, we can extend the front of the build, which then allows us to move the U-Haul over here to where the pickup truck was. So stacking the larger vehicles together. We do also have an option to place the pickup truck on this area too, so like anywhere you would like, kind of like along this smooth stone here, so maybe just kind of like in the middle. You can also do that because these places can sometimes be kind of like tightly fit, and then that also reduces the amount of space that we need to extend. Or as a matter of fact, if you didn't want to extend at all, you can in fact fit the pickup truck on the actual amount of space that we allocated for the grid anyway, if you did want to have each one of these 4 vehicles featured in the build. By the way, I should also point out that you don't have to include any of these if you don't want to, or just 1 or 2 of them, or however many you would like, really. Oh, if you do have the pickup truck here, I would recommend just adding a little bit of yellow wool underneath the front, just so that we have the continuity with the car parking spaces. If I did have to choose though, I would say that this is my ideal setup. It's just busy enough, but not overwhelming. With that final detail added, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially completed this tutorial. However, this video is not over. We must now add our enterprise rent-a-car into our city. Now let's head into my city and we can figure out where this thing is going. I don't know if this is the best choice, but I think the industrial area might be a good fit. For some reason, this seems to vibe industrial estate to me. I'm sure that it could go other places in the city. I might even throw one of these in the new suburban suburbs later on, but for now, I think this adds a lot to this area. What do you guys think? You may be interested in becoming a channel member. You can click the join button that will be somewhere on the screen right now. This does cost money and is a monthly subscription, but you do get some perks. The first of which is a download link for my city design world. This has every single build that I have placed in my city, arranged in order, and labeled. This perk also comes with schematics for the mods Lightmatica and World Edit, so you can easily reference and copy and paste these builds into your worlds in any way that you'd like. However, if you're not interested in any of that building business, the highest tier allows you to download the most current version of Minicity. There are also some minor perks, including loyalty badges displayed next to your name whenever you comment something down below on my videos. Depending on how long you have been a channel member, you gain a more prestigious helmet, with the highly coveted gold builder's hat being the most valuable. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.